You guys can see it? Cool. Um, so I guess first of all, I guess I'll just introduce myself again. I don't know if y'all last time. Name is George Borrego. I've been, in IT for over a decade now with experience. I own a company called RegoNet. It's a social platform. I finally launched an app. Last time I told you guys it was pending, but now it's active. So today I'm going to show you guys is we're going to go over Shodan. We're going to talk about webcams, IP cameras, just privacy in general, like data privacy too. So I do have Shodan up here. I'm logged in because you have to be logged in to do this. If you're not logged in, it won't work. So there are a couple different filters I want to show you and why you should be careful when when you have like IP cameras because they are exposed online. So it's going to be a little creepy, but at the same time, it's just an awareness to teach you guys about this and to be vigilant, but also tell others as well too. So I'll go ahead and get started here. So a couple things you could definitely do is you can type in like, if you type webcam, what you're going to see is you're just going to see like a bunch of IP addresses and then, maybe some ports in different regions and locations. Can you guys see it pretty good? Because I could zoom into if you want me to. But anyways, as you can see here, there's some from, I don't even, Minsk, Belarus. So that's like somewhere in the Asia region. I think it's part of like Russia. And then there's Japan, Tokyo, and so forth. So there's that. But now the funny thing is when you want to go ahead and dig in further, there's a cool filter that most people don't realize about or know about, which is kind of good. So you got to do like has underscore screenshot and then colon true. Watch this. This is where it gets kind of creepy. Boom. So now you can see all these different video feeds live that are open to the world that's being scanned. So you can see there's some chickens from a farm. There's a person right there. See, so there's like webcam. So that's why when it comes to IP cameras and webcams, you got to be very careful. Another thing that most people do is there's a lot of malicious actors out there that would do this specifically. And the reason is like, if you, I guess want you guys to kind of guess, what do you think are a couple of reasons why that most malicious actors would go here and try to like, view this? Anyone? No? Okay. I can just tell you. So a couple of different things that I've heard recently on the space is about how malicious actors would use cameras to try to pull up information. So sometimes you can see people's computer screens, you can see sensitive documents on people's like desks and stuff like that, where they would grab social security, they would grab people's names, they'd grab like emails and such like that. The other thing too is like maybe they could use it for extortion. Well, luckily it's no one's like too aware of this on the bad side, but they could definitely do that because a couple of things you can see here, there are IP addresses, locations, like this one's in the United States. And the funny thing is you can pinpoint anywhere. Like you can see, some of these different, whatever this is, I have no idea. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It gets kind of entertaining at times too, but it's funny because the reason I'm showing this today is that when most people think about data privacy online, no one thinks it's like that big of a deal. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build awareness to show how data privacy is very important and protecting yourself online is something that we should do as a standard. As you can see here, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, a lot of times we have like different companies that collect our data. Like, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, all that. It seems like data privacy is a little loose in some areas where there's places if you don't uncheck on Facebook for, I think they use it for like AI learning and stuff like that. They're just going to use your photos. Like, especially if you make it public, it's available to everyone. If you read the terms of service, usually they said that we own everything in royalty perpetuity, whatever you post on there, it's theirs pretty much. They claim ownership of that and they have the rights to use your photos however they see fit. And then also you can go up to the second page. There are different pricings you can do for this. You could pay for Shodan, so you can go more pages, do more deeper searches and stuff like that. So I guess I'll show you because I have like a whole list of filters I have. So there's this webcams, but also there are different names you can do like RTSP. So those are like common IP cameras that are out there today. So I'm going to copy one of my filters here. So I'm going to paste this here. So I'm going to do that. So basically, the has underscore screenshot colon true, most people don't know about that. They just kind of go in here and try to find, random IP addresses, open ports, and maybe try to hack systems. I'm sure that's what most malicious actors do. But also on the plus side is like if you're working at a company or, you want to just protect your own household too, I guess. you can go ahead and try to search on Shodan to see if you're exposed, especially at a company level. So if you're like working at a bank, this is something you don't want people to access. You don't want people to see internally what's going on. A couple ways to actually like block people from being able to access your systems or cameras, I guess in a sense, is to put it behind a firewall and then create a rule for any outbound connections coming in can't reach or scan. It's going to help try to prevent Shodan from scanning that. But also, because I know a lot of times people like to use, the custom GUIs that are available with some of these camera systems. So like for example, I think there's one called like Owl. So you got like a little server they give you with like maybe 2 terabytes of data you could store your cameras, and then you could log in through like a web portal or an app. A lot of times those do expose like like the ports to these cameras where people can access the web UI and log in, or if you don't put a credentials on there, they could just access it directly. I've seen again. I guess I'll talk about the legality first. I think that's probably an important piece. Anytime you access this, I know Census gives you access to a lot of these, web UIs. I mean, I'm sure you could probably grab this IP address, type it in HTTP, then the IP, and then the port number. It might pop up the web UI as well. But as far as doing that in the United States, it's kind of a gray area. Again, it depends on intent. I don't recommend doing this or like going in, logging into these, IP camera servers and trying to like just snoop around and stuff like that. I would say this is a safe bet just because on Shodan, they're the ones who screenshotted that. You're just using a filter to kind of do the search. But at the same time, I don't recommend going to the actual camera and watching a live feed. So Shodan does do scans. I don't know how often they scan. It could be every hour, every 4 hours. It could be 8 hours. Who knows? But they do scan out the webs. Just trying to look for like exposed ports and stuff like that. So as you can see, I did country US for the filter, and this is everything in the US that's exposed. Just kind of funny because this is a different country. Let me hit search. I don't think it hit it. Yeah, let's see. Come on, it's loading. Oh, kind of using my hotspot, so maybe I should have connected my. Okay, there we go. I was wondering what's going on there. Okay, so this one is in Bardstown, United States. I don't know what state it is, but it's a city. But yeah, you can see the ISP there. They're using AT&T. Again, you can kind of scroll around. Some of these you'll see like TV shows or something like that. I don't know if people are doing it intentionally or purposefully. Who knows? It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, again, looks like Tune Nick. Yeah, it's funny. But anyways, yeah, you can see there's people here. This is probably a store or a gas station. But another thing you can go to is you could also go ahead and break it down even further. You said US, but now let's do state. You can break this down as far as you want. We'll do South Dakota for fun. We'll just see what's around us. Just give it a little bit, guys. Oh, there it is again. Back, search. There we go. So okay, this is in South Dakota somewhere. This is Sturgis. It's Rapid City. This is someone's garage. Yeah, and then I don't know what this is, but they should probably take care of that. The crazy thing is like you want to go tell them, like, hey, the camera's exposed on the internet, but it's very hard to do. So like as you can see, it's behind an ISP. I'm sure you could probably, or I'm sure a malicious actor could probably do things like, hack the camera system and then search the network and find any other devices and try to like, laterally move and then, pinpoint, like if they get into a phone, they could pinpoint the location a lot easier or something like that. There's many different methods they can do. But yeah, so then if you want to break it even further from South Dakota, you can do like city, colon, quotes, Sioux Falls. Just do that. And don't mind me, guys. I'm a little tired today. I only had like 3 hours sleep, so I'm just pushing through. But yeah, technology's fun. Oh, do this again. All right, Sioux Falls. Come on. But okay, so that one was in Sioux Falls. Okay, I don't know what the sidewalk is or driveway, but somewhere in Sioux Falls, and then this too. Let's see, move front. Yeah. So, and you can see there's timestamps. Some of these timestamps could be inaccurate. Again, it's whatever's displayed from the camera's, server, whatever they set that thing up to. So, as you can see, yeah, this is kind of one of the things I try to tell people about. They think it's, it's kind of weird, it's strange, but again, if a malicious actor ends up getting access to something like this, I mean, we could all access this pretty easily, at least I did. And you can see just a couple of different filters. Just go in Shodan.io, creating an account, and then now you have access to do stuff like this and get more details. And then also census is pretty similar. You could write, okay, this one requires a specific query string they have to use. I do know they have, let's see here, it's called like Census GPT or something. They use like AI integration with it. I'm just going to Google it. Forgot the exact URL there. Census. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is with Census GPT beta. So what you can do is you can pretty much tell it to find like webcams. You can tell it to find specific servers, computers, stuff like that. In this case, I'm just gonna say, webcam, or actually IP camera. So IP camera, Stu in Sioux Falls. See how good it does. All right, so it generates me like a query for it. It says labels, IP camera, and location, city, Sioux Falls. So I'll go ahead, go back here. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in here under hosts and see if anything pulls up. Nothing pulls up, so I wasn't able to find it. Or it could be based on the query. I know I had some issues trying to find things with this. But that's another thing you could play with there too, to kind of see what's out there. It's kind of an interesting tool. Imagine it at a company perspective. You have things that are exposed to the internet that should be behind a firewall blocked, and have the proper firewall rules blocking those devices from being exposed to the internet. But yeah, any questions about this? I know I'm kind of rambling about it, but it's kind of an interesting thing here.
I mean, you can get screenshots of IP cameras. Are there any other weird filters that you found that?
So I'm glad you asked. There is GitHub that has a ton of different filters out there. I do have the link for that somewhere. As you can see, I have this Russian thing because I saw it on. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to do that. Let's go to Russia real quick here. I found some cameras that have some writings on it, and I was like, "What is it? Like, what is it saying?" And then I translated it. I forgot what it said. I can translate later. But like, yeah, I'm in Russia, so you can just kind of there it is. That's the exact same text I had. So yeah, okay. I'll tell you this. I know when I was on Twitter, I saw they mentioned about a guy that would go because I think he's from the U.S. And he's kind of like an anonymous person, but he said he would go, because of the Russia conflict. Him and a group of people would like hack Russian cameras and write like profanity on it, about the war and stuff like that. So again, there's a lot of malicious actors with different intent, so it really depends. You know, from conflict to stuff like that. But anyways, I'll go to that GitHub thing. I think I should have it here somewhere. I took some notes because I'm like, maybe you guys might want these, but all right. So I'll open this tab. So if you go to GitHub here, there is a ton. Oh, this is for census queries though, but they have a ton here. So let's see. Okay, let's go up here real quick. Okay, so I know Prism View, that's like the Samsung electronic billboards. So you have to convert these. I think Census did update some of the things they did on here. I'm gonna try it on here because for some reason it looks different compared to when I did it before. Okay, so there it is. Okay. I'm not gonna click on any of these, just cause, well, I think if I click on this, I'll give you some more details, but I do not want to go to the actual sites just to, I don't want to do live views on people's camera stuff. All right. Yeah. So it just kind of gives you more details about the system, ports, NetBIOS, stuff like that, SMB. Yeah. So there's that. But anyways, GitHub has this. If you really wanted to, you can go to Reddit and stuff. You could really type in Google. It's like Shodan IP camera, filters, and I'll just type in GitHub. Oh, there was one right there. Actually, I think that was the guy. Okay. All right. So yeah, there's a ton of these things here. I mean, people will give you different. This one says gas station pump controllers, which is terrible. Actually, that's you get a ton of different things here. You can access whatever this is. Atomic license plate readers. Let's see. Prism payphones. Okay. Tesla power packs, I guess. See, like, there's a ton of these different ones that you can utilize for filters. It's all on GitHub. It's on Reddit. People talk about it. I know people talk about cameras a lot on there too as well. So you could find those. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. You could probably type these filters in and find them. I'm curious about this Prism payphone. I'm just gonna type it and show it. I don't know, guys. That kind of caught my eye there. See what happens. I don't know if this is a good filter. Let's see. Oh, you have to move the quotation marks. Okay, this does not look like filter. Here, I'm just gonna go back and let that load. Or maybe I have to click on this. What is this? Oh, it's gonna take me straight to the search. Okay. Oh, yeah, didn't work. But yeah, you might have to go through these. Maybe some filter stuff thing or some of the filters changed. I doubt it, but there's a chance that could be the case. But yeah, there's one thing you could definitely go in here and play around with. Check out Shodan. I would stay in Shodan. I wouldn't go outside of Shodan. Just because ethics. It's all about good ethics. But anyways, so yeah, that's one part there. Now the next thing I want to do, but actually before I move on to the next thing I'm going to talk about, any other questions about this like Shodan or census or anything that we found or anything like that? Okay, no, okay, sweet. So now to the cool part, data privacy. So I want to I know there's a lot of data breaches that are taking place. I know there was one massive one about social security numbers being released. I think it was like 7 billion, and it's U.S. and other countries too, because I know we have probably more. But anyways, with that, our information's online. So if I obtained, or I would say this, if a malicious actor obtained your social security numbers, chances are they're going to probably look up your name on Google. And when they do that, they're going to find a bunch of addresses, people you're related to, potentially maybe what school you go to, maybe look on your Facebook because, some people put all their information there, date of birth, whatever. So for that, I do follow a guy. His name is Michael Basil. He did provide a walkthrough on how to remove your data online. So basically, all you got to go. I'm just gonna go to Google because I don't memorize the website on top of my head. But you can go to like Intel Techniques is what it's called, and from there they actually have pretty cool tools in there. So, but anyways, I'll go in here and I want to talk about data removal. He gives you a whole process on how to do data removal. He does have some books. They're great. I highly recommend them. But in this case here, if you just go to resources, he gives you a whole guide on how to do a few different things like data request guides. If you want to request your data from Equifax or maybe some companies, he kind of walks you through on how to do that, how to request that information. And then there's credit freeze. He kind of highly recommends the credit freeze part, and I could just click on it. It'll just tell you how to do credit opt out, credit free submissions, and he gives you the links and phone numbers to basically reach out to them or send correctly the information you need to do to freeze your accounts. The reason why you want to do your freeze your credit is so that no one opens it, because let's say your information's been breached through Equifax. They had the big breach, I think, and now they have your social security name, everything, and they have everything they need to take a loan or try to buy a house or buy a car or whatever, mainly loans, I guess you can say, or open a bank account with that information. So that's one thing to look into if you're not trying to take out any other loans. And of course, you could always unfreeze your credit if that's the case where you need to take a loan. But that's one recommendation. Or you can pretty much get not just data monitoring, but a data monitoring and restoration if you ever had issues with that. But another thing you can go to is the data removal guide. That's the one I'm that I find very cool that he gave us this here. So he kind of breaks down. I'm just going to scroll down here. Okay. So he kind of gives instructions about this. So this kind of walks you through the main top, I think it was 9 places that, a lot of the rest of these other companies pretty much pulls data from and utilizes and put it on their website. So Spokeo, MyLife, Radaris, White Pages, and then been verified too as well. So with these, and just a quick thing, I'm just going to copy this. Again, I could just scroll down for days. Look at that. These are all the places you can remove your data from. Oh, there you go. That's all at the bottom now. So that's quite a bit of data that's being collected, our information into these different companies. I think there's probably, I want to say almost 100 or more that's on this list. So that's pretty crazy. But anyways, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll just show you kind of example, I'm just going to go to Google. I'll just search myself. I did a data cleanup on myself, so it's kind of hard to find me. There is some information about me out there that I allowed to be out there just because of business purposes. But outside of that, I did a pretty good cleanup. So I'll just type in George Rago real quick. Of course, you're going to see my Instagram. I did make it public for reasons, but I think LinkedIn as well. See, this George Rago is not me. This guy is some lawyer or something like that. If you keep going down, Ancestry, that's not me. So there's really nothing about me that's on here. This is not me again. There's experience. So if I click on these, managing director, that's not me. So I'm just going through here, and we can even break it down further and just say Sioux Falls. Again, just yellow pages here, so it says that. So I'll just open it, and I highly recommend when you go into clear your data, to use like incognito through like Brave, and then using a VPN, because just because they collect data on their side, I don't know. I'm just one of those guys where I'm trying to get as less data as possible. I don't want them to know that I'm in Sioux Falls, so I'll just use a VPN to say I'm like in a different state or different location, so it doesn't kind of confirm on their side if they're using some sort of analytics tool to see that, hey, this person's removed their data, this is so and so. But that's just an extra step I like to take. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's highly recommended. Another thing too is, I recommend using like burner emails too if they require emails to remove your data. Because if you give your actual email, they're probably going to store that and say, oh, tie it to you as that's your identity, and maybe even save it and post that as well. So, anyways, I'm going to go to let's go to Yellow Pages. I'm going to open a new tab there. So continue. So when I go in here, you can see there's, I'm not 73 years old. That's not me. I'm not in Pennsylvania. You can keep going down. AOL, it's not me. Florida. Let's see. And I'm scrolling down, so I'm not seeing. I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna just try to see if I can find myself. Let's see. Type Sioux Falls. There's nothing that pops up here. I'll just even type in the search bar here, just to make sure. Hit a search. And there's nothing. So my information was on here prior before. Oh, it's still loading. And I cleared it, and it's gone. It does take some time when you go through the scrubbing process of removing your data and information online. But it's worth it. It took me like 6 hours, by the way, to clear my data online. That's just me going through it. I know there's companies you can pay to do this as well, but I'm just like, no, I'm in it for the experience. And I think once you do it once, you're pretty good. Like unless you start giving your information to companies that are willing to share or sell that data. But I don't. So let's see. And honestly, I think they purposefully make it take this long to annoy you, or to like pay for subscriptions to get faster information about yourself or whoever you're searching on. Because when I was clearing my data, like I had to wait. Like this is pretty insane, isn't it? Just 93, 94. Like I'm pretty sure it's done in the back end. But they just want you to wait. So that's my guess. Okay. And then yeah, they make you go through this hassle here. So another thing to mention about it too, is some of these, as you go through the list, they're gonna pretty much tell you like, they give you the website to go to, the removal link, which is pretty cool, and then the privacy policy about it, and then their contact support. So this is White Pages for 411.com, which is, you know, I guess owned by probably White Pages, just like a a parent company or something, or sister company. And let me go back here real quick. Oh wow, it's still going. See what I'm talking about? They purposely make it so difficult. But okay, so for this one I went to Yellow Pages, so I'm gonna just try to find it. So I went here, it says Yellow Pages. Actually, let me make sure it's the right one. It's Yellow Book, Yellow Pages. Okay, there it is. So there's Yellow Pages, and then the funny part is you have to go to this removal link right here. So I'll just click on one of the removal links and just kind of show you what it looks like. Um, Good old Cloudflare. So I'm going to checkbox that. And then it kind of makes you like put in your information here. So they're going to say, are you submitting for yourself or on behalf of someone? Of course, you can say myself. And then you can just say, let's see. I don't know why it's saying that, but yeah, you're pretty much going to have to type your first and last name just because it, has to match the record. Okay, I'm just checking. That's taking a while. Oh. 3. All right, going back here. And then this is where I recommend using a burner email. As you can see, I could use my personal email, or I could just hide my email. I love Proton. They allow me to use like aliases. I pay for the whole like Proton Unlimited. So I get the email, the password manager, which does the aliases and stuff like that. So I just start doing that, and then it just goes to the same inbox. And if they try to spam you, you can just turn it off, or delete that alias, which is awesome. Instead of having to create like multiple, Gmail accounts and stuff like that, because I know Google with Gmail, they require a phone number attached to it. You can't use that same phone number to create multiple accounts. That's just a way for them to kind of limit users from abusing it. And then, of course, you have to put in your country, state, and so forth. So once you fill all those required information in there, based on whatever you find on here, So if let's say you live in Sioux Falls, but they put you in a weird zip code like that's not your zip code, like 57105, and you live on 57107. Then just copy exactly what you see on there and then put that information there. Don't put your actual zip code. Just do whatever's matched with whatever's here. So as you can see, it's trying to ask me to put an email here. I'm not going to do that because I know they're going to email me right away. But that's one recommendation. So I'm just gonna close that out. But yeah, once you fill these out, I would say wait about like a week. I think he even recommends that too. I'm just go back up here. Let's see. Yeah, so about a week right here. He recommends that. Another cool thing is you can download it as a PDF. So if you want to go ahead and modify it as you go down the list of removing your data, you can mark it. You can put down like the dates you removed it and stuff like that. Just for fun, I'll just download it real quick here. Or I could open it and show you the previews. So right here you can see like there's some additional information you could put, or he put a whole new line for additional information like the date you did it, the response you received, and then verify the removal. I do recommend verifying the removal. Say you opt out your information from Yellow Pages or wherever. I do recommend to go back in like after a week and then try to see search your name on there to double check if it's still in there or not. And if it's not, that's awesome. I'll tell you this: I've done this like a year and a half ago, so my information is still not on Google, and I didn't even have to go back in here to try to remove my data anymore. So I would say I'm doing a pretty good job on data privacy online. So, okay, so let me get rid of that here. Any questions on this so far about data removal in the process? Okay, awesome. So let's see. Kind of went by pretty fast. I'm going to show you some other cool tools. Actually, before I do that, let's see. Oh, another thing to I recommend as well for credential exposure removal guide. So like have like that website Have I Been Pwned? If you type your email, you could actually identify like what sites you've been on and where the data exposure came from. Let's see. Let's go there real quick. So if you go to his website, I don't know what email to use. I don't know. Maybe I'll just type some random name. Let's do Chris Michael or something. I don't know. Gmail. Let's see if I'm lucky to find something here. Okay, so yeah, I just typed in a random email. I don't know who Chris Michael is, but he's been pwned in Adobe, LinkedIn, and more than likely, yeah, it's from a breach incident. Tumblr, MySpace, Dropbox, and so forth. So as you can see, it's like, okay, most malicious actors go in here and be like, oh, it's a data breach. Let's see if we can go to dark web and find credentials that people are selling. I know there was a website called Genesis that was taken down by the FBI. They're selling credentials and other things like that. And then they made another website called Exodus, which I don't know if it's down yet, because I know the FBI is probably either working on taking it down or it's still up, one of the two. But most people, when they collect your credentials, they sell it. More than likely it's quiet at first, and then eventually they figure it out, and then you're if you were in that part of that breach with your email, it's going to end up on the site. But yeah, they also on the site they give you like this walkthrough on how to remove your credentials from Have I Been Pwned. Let's see, there we go. So yeah, it tells you right here. You can search for your email, and then you can go to the opt-out page. And then just type in, your email address, you're not a robot, and hit opt out. So if I wanted to, I could do it for Chris Michael. I'm not going to do it, but just a little cool thing to do here. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, and there's a couple other different sites here as well too that you could go ahead and remove. There's Dashed, LeakCheck, PSB, DMP, IntelliX, so forth. So you could definitely look up your emails in here to see if your email is also on there. I highly recommend removing your emails from any of these sites. It just helps, reduce the risk a little bit of exposure. So, of them trying to find where to get your credentials. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got. I think I kind of breezed through this a little bit, but yeah, do you guys have any questions in regards to data removal or the Shodan that we walked through?
So it's kind of just a one and done process. You don't really have to do it every 6 months or something.
So yeah, I would say so. At least for me, it was like a one and done. Again, it really depends on where your data's at. So, if another company has your data and they keep selling it or pushing it out somehow, or your data was on, say, Facebook, where you put your address, phone number somehow in there, and it was, it's being scraped through bots or something like that, then it'll constantly end up on there. So I'd almost recommend don't put your phone numbers on Facebook and all that other stuff, because I think that's one of the infos you could definitely show publicly. So yeah, I've seen that before. People put their numbers on there. I'm like, that is very bold, but I wouldn't do that. So yeah. But more than likely, if you lock down your accounts and things like that, and don't put sensitive data like your phone number, address out there that's public, you're pretty much safe, and you won't have to go back in here every 6 months to try to clean that out. Other than that, that's pretty much it. If you guys want, I could show you my community platform.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go ahead and log in here. So if you go to community.ragonet.com, it's gonna be right here. This is, oh yeah, this is the test account I gave him. I put, what is it? Michael Scott from The Office. Yeah, so that's here, I'll see if I can zoom in on it. Yeah, so that's Michael Scott, Prison Mike. I don't know if you guys know him, but that's a test account picture I gave to Apple to use for review. But I'm just gonna sign out real quick here. I'm gonna go to my account. I'm admin. Oh, there it is. All right, so there it is. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the platform. You can make posts on here. I have different sections for like questions, cybersecurity, coding, AI, news, and then also like you could pretty much see there's different posts here. As you can see, this is where zoom out. I don't know. Finally on Google Play, so if you want to install it from there, you definitely can. Then you can message people here. Likes, pretty much similar to Facebook. One of the cool things for me being an admin is I can go ahead and do a live. Let's see here. I can go live right now, but I'm not going to. Maybe I could. I don't know. Yeah, so I can go live. My goal is to, one, I want to present more on here. So like today, kind of walk through some stuff. I want to either share different tools that I've got, or different techniques that you could utilize in your day-to-day lives, especially when it comes to cybersecurity or just IT in general. And then maybe bring some other friends too to talk and showcase some things too. Another thing is I added the resource tab as well. So I partner with Proton and Bitdefender. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I put some other resources like Copilot, Gemini, VirusTotal, URL scan.io, and then Abuse IP database or DB. So I'm gonna keep adding on to this, and if you guys know any other cool resources too, I could definitely go ahead and add that as well. My goal is to add in as much helpful things here as possible. There are also different filters here. So if you want free security tools, you can click on that. If you want just AI stuff here, you can just do that, and I'll uncheck that. There you go. You can just get that too as well. So I'm trying to make it as convenient, as easy as possible. Just because I know there's a lot of tools that exist out there that I wasn't aware of, and someone else told me. And then also there's other tools that I knew that they didn't know as well. So kind of knowledge sharing is very important. That's kind of one of the reasons why I developed this as well. And then there's events. I could go ahead and put like different events that are coming live soon. Like if I do it next week, I could schedule it. And then people can hop on here. It's gonna be like Twitch where it's live and you can start doing live stream chatting and stuff like that. And then there's messaging. I messaged. Here's Lane. I messaged Lane here. I said hello. He said hello back to you. So I felt pretty cool. Right, and then you get like notifications as well. So anytime anyone likes your thing or comments, you can do that. Pretty basic. And then there's the about. And then what else? There's one other cool thing. Oh, I'm also doing a giveaway, guys. So once I hit 150 people on this platform, giving away a $150 gift card to one winner. Also, second place will be $50 gift card, and then there'll be for third, fourth, and fifth would be like $10 gift cards. So just FYI, if you guys want to win something cool, tell your friends. Of course, it'd be 18 and older, just FYI. And yeah, join. And once I hit 150, I'll do probably create a script to just choose a random name or number, and then just run it live, and then just either mail it to you, give it to you in person, whatever you guys prefer. Let's see what else. Yeah, it's pretty much it. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and get the app on the Android store, it's there. I also, if you want to be a tester on the iOS side, I could also definitely do that. But yeah, so that's that, guys. That's all I have. Just any questions on the platform? Anyone? No?
Is it pretty active?